Blake Shelton had the curliest shoulder-length hair at this Toby Keith show. It was a moment of pure nostalgia, a trip down memory lane, and a powerful reminder of how far country music has come when Blake Shelton stepped into the spotlight at a Toby Keith tribute show earlier this year. But it wasn't just the music or the emotional weight of the event that had everyone talking. It was Blake Shelton's unforgettable hair. Yes, you read that right. Blake Shelton, the man known today for his signature scruffy charm, his salt and pepper beard, and his cool, confident stage presence, once rocked some of the curliest shoulder-length hair country music has ever seen. And that hair made a glorious comeback at the Toby Keith show, taking center stage almost as much as the music itself. There was something magical about the way the lights hit that perfectly curled mane cascading across his shoulders, bouncing with every beat of the music. It was a throwback to a different era, a nod to a time when Blake Shelton was just a rising star, hungry, determined, and still finding his voice in an industry that wasn't quite sure what to make of him yet. That hair told its own story, wild, unfiltered, unapologetically Southern, and completely unforgettable. Fans in the audience who had followed Shelton from the very beginning recognized the look instantly. It was as if time had folded in on itself and brought back the young Blake who once burst onto the scene with nothing but a guitar, a dream, and a head full of curls that couldn't be tamed. The show was supposed to be about Toby Keith, and in many ways it was a heartfelt tribute to a legend whose music defined generations. But Blake's hair stole the show, creating a buzz that spread like wildfire across social media, television screens, and backstage conversations. Country music has always thrived on authenticity, and no one embodies that spirit quite like Blake Shelton. While he's come a long way from his early days, his willingness to step back into that old image, even if just for one night, proof that the heart of the man hasn't changed. He's still the same Oklahoma boy with a big voice, a bigger personality, and a sense of humor that keeps fans coming back year after year. There was something symbolic about the hair, too. In many ways, it represented a return to roots, a celebration of where it all began, and an homage not just to Toby Keith, but to the era they both helped define. It was a visual love letter to the fans who had been there from the start, and a playful wink to the critics who once doubted whether that curly-haired kid would last more than a single season. The night itself was already heavy with emotion. Toby Keith's presence loomed large even in his absence. His music, his style, and his influence were everywhere. Artists came together to honor him not with somber speeches or rehearsed tributes, but with the thing Toby loved most: raw, powerful, honest country music. And Blake delivered one of the most heartfelt performances of the evening. As he strummed his guitar and let the lyrics pour from his soul, there was a fire in his eyes that hadn't dimmed with time. And with every shake of his head, every toss of that unruly hair, the audience was reminded of the young man who once dared to dream of standing exactly where he was now. Backstage there was laughter, disbelief, and pure joy as fellow artists reacted to Blake's transformation. Some joked that they hadn't seen that version of him since before smartphones existed, while others confessed they missed those days when everything felt a little less polished and a little more real. Blake took it all in stride, smiling, laughing, and even poking fun at himself. He didn't wear the curls with irony or discomfort. He wore them with pride. He owned the moment in a way that only he could, blending nostalgia and showmanship with the ease of someone who's been in the spotlight long enough to know when to let loose and when to lean in. For the younger fans who may have only known Blake Shelton of The Voice fame, or his romantic life with Gwen Stefani, this was a revelation. They saw a side of him that predates the television sets and red chairs. They saw the heart of a true country artist, someone who didn't just sing about the simple life but lived it, breathed it, and wore it proudly. Blake has always had a deep respect for the legends that came before him, and his relationship with Toby Keith has been one of mutual admiration and shared roots. They're both products of a time and place where country music was more than just entertainment. It was identity, it was family, it was survival. And on this night, Blake honored all of that not just with his voice, but with every curl on his head. The conversations that followed the performance weren't just about the hair, though that certainly remained a trending topic. They were about legacy, about the beauty of looking back while still moving forward, about what it means to grow up in the public eye and still remain true to yourself, about how the smallest things sometimes carry the deepest meanings. There was something deeply human about the whole moment. In a world where celebrities are often expected to evolve into glossy, manufactured versions of themselves, Blake reminded everyone that evolution doesn't have to mean erasure. You can grow without forgetting. You can succeed without pretending. You can change without losing the parts of yourself that made people fall in love with you in the first place. In the days following the show, pictures of Blake's throwback look flooded the internet. Memes were born, old performances resurfaced, and longtime fans shared their favorite early memories of the singer. Some recalled the first time they saw him open for Toby in small-town arenas, while others reminisced about hearing his debut single on the radio and knowing instantly that he was destined for greatness. There's something powerful about a man who can laugh at his past, celebrate it, and use it to bring people together. Blake did all of that with one simple choice: to wear his old hair for one unforgettable night. It wasn't about fashion or vanity. It was about meaning, memory, and the music that binds us all. And the truth is, the curls looked good. They weren't just a throwback, they were a statement. A reminder that Blake Shelton isn't afraid to embrace the full story of who he is and where he's been. That he's willing to honor the past not just in words or melodies, but in the little things that make the biggest impact. Fans are still talking about it, and probably will be for a long time. Because in a world obsessed with reinvention, there's something incredibly refreshing about someone who says, "Hey, remember this? This is who I was and a little bit of who I still am." It takes courage to revisit the past and grace to wear it so well. Blake Shelton did both that night at the Toby Keith show, and in doing so, he reminded everyone why they fell in love with him in the first place. Not just for the voice or the charm or the humor, but for the heart, the realness, the curls. As country music continues to evolve, expanding into new sounds and reaching new audiences, there's comfort in knowing that some things never change, that the soul of the genre remains intact, carried by artists who still know where they came from. Blake Shelton didn't just honor Toby Keith with a song. He honored him by showing up fully, completely, and without ego, by letting the past live and breathe on stage, even for just a moment, and by doing it with a head full of hair that told its own beautiful story. For those lucky enough to be in the audience that night, it wasn't just a concert. It was a reunion, a celebration, a memory in the making. And for one night, only Blake Shelton's curls took center stage and reminded the world that sometimes the best way forward is to take a moment and look back with pride. That's the magic of country music. That's the magic of Blake Shelton. And that's the power of one unforgettable head of hair. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to our American Idol YouTube channel for more updated news.